Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Just Another Kill Team podcast, connecting kill team communities across the globe. If you're passionate about the tactical skirmish game that brings together strategy, lore, and creativity, you are in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay updated with our latest episodes. If you want to support the show, check out our Patreon. Your support means a lot to us. Follow us by using the social media links in the podcast description for all the latest news, and be sure to leave a review to let us know what you think. Thanks for tuning in. Here's today's episode. Kapow, we're live. Welcome.
Thank you.
Back with Segmentum, Colorado.
Climbing up the mountains.
Thank you. Yeah.
And it's been a little bit since we last caught up with you guys. How has the Colorado kill team scene been going?
It has been growing since we last spoke. It's actually gotten pretty large now.
Okay, let's talk about pretty large. Oh, that's true too, but people can't see that. But for anyone that doesn't know, the other Jason's beard is very respectable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got Leo on here instead of Adrian from last time. And Leo, you're the other person that's helping to push Colorado kill team a little bit, right?
Yeah, hey, I'm Leo. Really glad to be here. Been helping Jason grow the local community kind of across both the casual side, dropping kill team, as well as the tournament scene. We're really starting to grow that as well.
Yeah, so like how often are you guys doing tournaments and like how big are they these days?
Well, we're kind of working with our Colorado Springs friends. So between the two of us, we're doing about 4 tournaments a year. And our last tournament in 2025 was in November. It happened to be a charity tournament that we ran. I had a close friend in June or July who was recently diagnosed with multiple myeloma. And so we ran a charity tournament there. And that ended up actually being the largest single day tournament that we've had so far in Colorado. We started the event with 28 players. We had a few drops during the day, so I think we ended, if our memory is correct, with around 24 players total at the end of the event. But before that, we were averaging, 16 to maybe 18 players. So it was quite a big step up. And on the side of the charity, that we also ended up donating $4,100 to multiple myeloma research as part of that event as well. So our tournaments have definitely grown since we last spoke, where, we were, like I said, getting maybe 16 players, although we had a couple tournaments where we were lower than 16. We're now getting consistently above 16 and pushing that upper limit.
Nice, that's huge.
The number of stores in Colorado kind of like sized up over time too, because obviously kill team, from me and Jason's eyes, have gotten a lot bigger over time because we've watched the World Team Championship, the World Championships of Warhammer, it grow over time, and podcasting. So has it been the same in Colorado? Is it just those 24 players are all from the entire state, or is it just different cities now have their own stores that are all kind of playing?
So I would say we have probably like 3 regional kill team groups. One in the Denver area that Jason runs, I help out with. We have a friend Dirk down in Colorado Springs, as well as Jonah. They have a group down there. And then we have a group that's really starting to form up north, like towards, I would say, like, not quite Boulder, but that way.
Fort Collins.
Yeah. They're getting pretty, like, they're getting weekly events, more drafting than casual. They are running leagues up there, so like we are getting like kind of just natural growth. It's great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, nice. The more places to play, the better. And it sounds like you guys have your own Discord too, right? You guys want to talk a little bit about the growth of your guys' own Discord to group up the Colorado players?
Yeah, so the Segmentum Colorado Discord is kind of the overall idea behind that was to just create a place where everybody in Colorado could come and talk about Kill Team, and then if they were running an event, post their, the Colorado Springs has their own Discord for their own group, and I believe the Northern Colorado guys have they mostly work out of a store. I forget which one that is off the top of my head, but they have a store Discord that they mostly work out of, but. Because we have also been, this is kind of some news, maybe you've seen the announcement on Frontline Gaming, but we've been talking with Frontline Gaming now for the past year. And so because we are working with them now to run Kill Team at Rocky Mountain Open this year in May, we've been growing our Discord when we've been to like LVO and other events by handing out stickers with our Discord link. And we're actually pushing some 300 members now in our Discord, so it's been growing. That said, not all 300 members are active. We're not like Command Point or any of those big Discords. We have a very small, sort of very, dedicated active group of players. But by adding those additional players in, we kind of hope to be able to grow something like Rocky Mountain Open, and make it a respectable sized, multi-state tournament.
Nice. So you guys are actually working with FLG to get this one of their newer tournaments up online, basically?
Yeah, it's happening. The May 2nd and 3rd, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Looking at the
Rocky Mountain Open.
The last year's was March 22nd to 23rd. So you guys are moving forward in time a little bit, give you guys a little bit more time to like set up and prep.
Some of it was also the venue that they were at the last 2 years. Is no longer it's not available this year because of some renovations, so they're moving it, which I'm actually hoping they stay where they're at, because I think it's probably a better venue. It's going to be in the Denver Tech Center. It's actually going to be in an actual hotel instead of on the fairgrounds, so I think it might be long run a better venue. But we're really excited to sort of bring this to Rocky Mountain Open. Now there's a lot of excitement around it, it's a multi-day Kill Team tournament in Colorado for everybody in this area and the surrounding states that really wants to try, but maybe has been like, I can't go to Las Vegas because Las Vegas can be quite expensive.
Yeah, Colorado is a great place to visit, right?
If you're lucky, there's some late spring skiing. It's a good time of year. Denver's a fun city too. It's not huge or anything, but we've got plenty to do and check out.
Yeah, and we'll have links to that event in the show notes, because I can see that you can buy the tickets right now. How big is the event going to be?
We're shooting, I believe, for 32 players, but we're working really closely with the Frontline Gaming event staff. And, if it looks like as we get closer, we've sold out and they've got the space and we can come up with the tables, we'll add more tickets if we can. Yeah,
on our end, we're already working pretty hard to get all terrain set up. We have some ability to flex, like, with 3D printing and stuff like that. So we could probably go a little higher. It's really also going to depend on what FLG will give us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's actually super duper exciting. Are there other smaller local events leading up to it? You mentioned that you have 4 yearly tournaments right now. So is one of those going to coincide like right before the Rocky Mountain Open, so that local players get a chance to prep, or you guys this is the big event?
So, go ahead, Jason.
I was gonna say, I think the Colorado Springs group is looking to run one before that, and then we may also slide one in before that as well to help prep. Because Rocky Mountain Open is going to be a big 2-day event, and it's kind of right smack dab in the middle of spring there. So we'll slide a couple in ahead of times, hopefully to allow people to kind of practice and get ready.
Yeah, I think this year. So last year, as we said, we did four tournaments. They were ITT tournaments. People got to earn points. I'm pushing maybe for a 5th one this year, and then we can also encourage our other outlier groups, like just the other groups in Springs or up north, to do more events as well. But I do think we'll try to get one practice tournament in for our Mo.
Yeah. But even if we don't have practice tournaments available, we're always running Kill Team every Saturday at a local store here in Aurora, Colorado, and it's very consistent. And so, basically our mantra is show up and you will get a game. It doesn't matter if you have arranged a game ahead of time or not. Usually one of the mods, like myself or Leo, or we have another mod, Daniel, is there. And so if we're odd people, they'll be able to play a game. If we're even, then we'll have sort of an odd man out. One of us will sit out so everybody can get a game. And so we really push that too. And so everybody has a chance to practice, and they can basically show up and say, hey, I want to practice into this team or this team. And as we get closer to tournaments, like as we were getting closer to Las Vegas Open in October last year, we were getting consistently 8, 9, 10, 12 players every Saturday to play. So everybody had a chance to try a bunch of different teams and practice their team.
Yeah, I'll say we also have a great just welcoming community. Anyone of any skill level, you have some models left over from 40K, just want to come and try Kill Team out. We have folks there that are willing to just do tutorial games and walk you through kind of the Kill Team basics. And then, as Jason alluded to, we had a bunch of folks that were really grinding out LVO and getting ready. So really folks all over the spectrum of Kill Team experience.
Yeah, it sounds like a good mix of both the competitive and the casual players floating around in Colorado, especially as the scene has gotten a little bit bigger. Are you guys hoping that a Coloradan is going to be able to take the Rocky Mountain Open? Are you guys worried about the rest of the U.S. coming over and stealing the ticket?
I mean, there's a couple of really good players in Colorado that could do it, but it kind of depends on it's early enough in the season for the golden ticket that someone could just kind of come into a smaller event and walk away with it if they're looking to just secure their ticket and not have to worry for the rest of the year. But we're hopeful. We've got I think Leo is a pretty good player, and then we've got Jonah down in the Springs. Where did Jonah end up in the ITC ranking for Star Striders again?
He's first overall worldwide.
Yeah. So
not the easiest team to play, especially with all the Space Marines running around.
Let me tell you, he was a menace, and I'm glad that they are now a retired team.
Yes, there's a lot of people in the local meta
for all of these like small local players. Are like, I'm not leaving this team. How has the scene worked around classification? Actually,
that's a good question. So with Frontline Gaming, I don't know if you're aware, they're partnering pretty closely with Squad Games. And Dakota out of Squad Games to kind of sort of set up a standard tournament package. And so if you go to a Frontline Gaming Kill Team event, this is to expect of whether it's LVO or Rocky Mountain Open or Lone Star Open or whatever they're running. And so what Dakota has done for Rocky Mountain Open is what we're doing is we're following the Squad Games sort of classification, which means I believe it's the White Dwarf teams are out, but all the other teams are still technically in if you can technically buy the models for that team.
I think that would be like Commandos, Novitiates, Pathfinder probably still in because those are getting folded into like their normal kits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're all still in.
Blooded,
yep, they're all still in.
I think Gellerpox are like long gone because those kits have been out of stock for years and years now.
Yeah, I believe Dakota and Squad Games are classifying like those kind of one-off teams or the White Dwarfs as like just we're done with them.
Yeah, if you can't buy it, then it's hard. So does that mean that Star Striders are still technically open for Rocky Mountain? Because you can still get them, I'm pretty sure.
No, I believe... Go ahead, Jason.
I think it's the White Dwarf teams, and I think Gellerpox and Star Striders are out in the Squad Games, if I remember correctly.
That's too bad because I could look at the website. It says online only. You can still get. It sounds like it'd be really funny to watch Leo have to manage that the Rocky Mountain Open still has.
I'm TOing that one. It's fine.
And like, there's some like Battle Force boxes and stuff that have Star Striders in them too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the Imperial agents.
There's ways to get them. Yeah. And when it comes to you guys, what teams are you guys currently playing and the most excited about to like maybe get into this year?
You want to start, Leo?
Sure. I've been for the last month or so, banging my head against the wall with spell suits. Started 40K as a Tau player. I've owned and collected that army at least twice. And like back in Kill Team 2018, I was like that mixed Pathfinder cell suits player. Love them. New iteration. They've got some strengths, but I think if you look at the overall trends, they have a lot of weaknesses. So it's been a fun challenge trying to get them to operate well and win Kill Team games. I am excited to give them a little more time, but if I'm being realistic, we got a tournament coming up, I think, end of February, the one in the Springs. I might need to switch off them.
What are you finding to be the biggest weaknesses?
If you're being just realistic about the amount of APL they have, each turn to like just attack people. Like they don't shoot enough. They don't fight enough. They don't fight well at all. So when you talk about opponents that have 9 or more models, they just out activate you and wait you out, and you're just not gonna be able to kill them fast enough. So I think I'm not gonna say auto lose because that's not fair, but very tough matchups when you get into like those mid to horde sized teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many Horde teams left in the game. You know, we got Sanctifiers and Kroot. I guess Kroot would be pretty spooky.
Oh, absolutely. That's just pick up my
And anyone
models
left
and go home.
on Kroot are all the crazy diehards because time has weeded out most of the Kroot kinband.
Yeah, we've got one player who's really good with Kroot kinband. I don't know if probably would be worth Leo playing a game with him against stealth suits just to see how that would go. I would pay money to see that.
Oh, great.
I feel like that'd be a good one to just bring stun grenades and go nuts. Just try to drown them in stun grenades. I don't know. That might be good.
Yeah,
it could work. You don't do anything all games that stun people, but that's okay.
And then like maybe trick them into a crazy shootout where it's like you run around on engage so that you can do the dude that can stun people when you have an engage order, and then you can counteract and stun someone again. And then if they're shooting at you, you've got the hollow wave countermeasures, and then you're shooting back. And if you counteract and shoot back, like, I don't know, it could be a proper shootout. Maybe that's...
I think you're expecting the stealth suits to live a lot longer than they typically do.
Hollow wave countermeasures. If it's a shootout, you'll be fine.
I guess, yeah, that's fair. That would be the only matchup where the torrent really matters, I think, because typically you don't get that many torrent shots in Kill Team, so that could be good.
I kept on purposely giving my stealth suit opponents torrent shots while I was playing Space Marines, but then it was just like he did 10 damage to 3 Space Marines, and I was like, that's not how that's supposed to work.
Yeah. Space Marines are the matchups that I look forward to going into because you still have to position yourself pretty impeccably, and you have to sometimes really roll well because you're still hitting on force for the most part. But those matchups are pretty winnable. I think you can hit hard and delete a Space Marine pretty easily.
100%, yeah. Those fusion guns are gnarly, and it turns out the torrent is good enough to threaten a Space Marine.
It's 5 dice, right? Like 5 dice could still be great.
When you switch to torrent, it's only 4. But if you're like Tomb World or something, then it's lethal 5.
Yep.
And inside Volca's terrain. I mean, I think stealth suits have a pretty reasonable spot in the meta right now. It's just that the Horde, and really the Horde teams, I think Brood Brothers are probably the most dangerous for them just because they brutalize you in melee, and if you dash back, someone else will probably find a bead. But
yeah, absolutely.
Definitely against all the other stuff that's popular right now, not so bad.
Sure. No, yeah, I think I'll say I've won more games with them than lost, but you can just I think it's a very unique play style. If you don't play it kind of perfectly, you collapse pretty quickly, and then there's just some teams that it's gonna be hard.
Yeah. So if you do switch for the upcoming tournament, what are you gonna play instead?
Mostly because I don't have the time to really grind out a new team. Deathwatch maybe. To personal experience, I actually used to be a big Legionary player last edition and a half. I feel like the way those two teams play are similar, where you've got these superstar lone operatives that really can just go and kill 2-3 models, brutalize your opponent in certain ways. Really fun. Now, obviously, there's a drawback now with only 5 models, but Deathwatch are strong still. So I think if I had to make the choice today, that's where I would go.
Yeah.
Luckily, you're probably not going to have to make the choice today.
That's true.
Yeah.
What about you, Jason?
After LVO, I pivoted from Raveners just for a change of pace, and I picked up Mandrakes, mostly because I had a thought on how I wanted to paint them with sort of a really cool non-traditional OSL. But then they went on to win the WCW, and now everybody and their mother is picking them up, going oh, Mandrakes are our top meta pick. They're definitely a big brain team, I think. But I can definitely see where a lot of their strength comes from with their shadow passage, with their nowhere to hide. They've got the movement to get where they need to go and do things on the board. And I've only got a handful of games in with them, and I've lost more games than I've won with them, but I've enjoyed playing them.
I highly recommend
they do
trying out the cruise missile thing.
Is that with the Dirge Maw, and you do the haunting token and then nowhere to hide when your player attempts to activate who you're haunting, or your focus? Essentially,
you just stage where you're 12 and a half inches away from everyone, and then you're completely outside of their threat range, and their entire team is completely inside your threat range. And then kind of
you're using
depending on some of the teams, so then you want to go second. but you dangle like just enough that they might want to go first, but they don't because it's the Dirgema, and then you haunting focus them. And then you literally just activation after activation dash to extend your charge, and then on your activation charge, you've got 12-inch charges. If you do like 5 to 7 charges per turn, you just like turn your brain off and then send 5 cruise missiles in, and by the end of all of it, depending on how the dice go, you just clean up the map with your last couple guys and you're done. It's a no-brainer Mandrake way.
I just started figuring out that specific tactic and used it in a game recently, using the their dash stratagem to basically like extend your charge range, because it's like, you activate that, before you activate that operative, you give them that free dash, then you activate them and you've got a charge. You've got that extra, you got a 9-inch charge to begin with, and now you got an extra 3 inches on top of that with the dash. So it can be pretty scary.
You can have your whole team charge with a conceal order, which makes it even more savage. So like, especially against stuff like Hurricane Jaegers, where they've got that like that network buddy stalwart defense Overwatch thing. If you just charge with a conceal order, there's no problem there. And there's all sorts of problems that you can fix with that. So that's pretty spicy. And then I also found myself chain snaring everybody. I was like, I'll chain snare a Death Watch Marine, and you're gonna wish that you could fall back.
The ultraviolet rears its ugly head again.
So good.
Or maybe that's just the antidote that a cage or kill team has asked for.
It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah.
And they're one of the teams that can do something like that because of the out-of-phase dashes that are all over the team. And, Ratlings aren't going to charge and fight the way that Mandrakes are.
Yeah, and they can't Scarper into a shot because you can't get within 3 with a Scarper.
Yep.
But yes,
I definitely think that free dash is something that I've been sleeping on, and like I said, I just started using it, so I think it's definitely going to change how I play.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. So you said you picked them up for a little while, but have been less on that because they became the super popular pick. What's been after that, or what's next?
Oh, I'm still playing Mandrakes. I'm taking a lot of shit from everybody in the group because as a dirty meta chaser. But no, they're definitely where I've been kind of playing a lot of my games right now. I haven't touched Raveners in a while. They would probably be my next, if I had to fall back like Leo to a team where I felt a little more confident for a tournament. It would be just go back to Raveners. I think they're still pretty strong, and I really enjoy their play style.
I mean, they're not even that strong anymore, perceptibly in the metagame, because they got hit so hard on their big nerf that now Raveners are, they're just part of the metagame.
Yeah, they're pretty fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're still good. They're very, in some ways, I feel like they prepared me a little bit for Mandrakes because they're very much a positioning team as well. And it's not just like positioning of like where my charge is, but nuance of where do I want to actually position my big 40 mil base to like slide around an opponent when I enter his engagement range, or do fun little things like that. And I think it's the same kind of thing with the Within Shadow. With the Mandrakes, they want to be a position team too. They want to try to be in shadow, but they want to be in engagement so they can attack their opponent with those really nice 4/5 blades, or the warriors get 4/6 when they're within shadow. So I think Raveners, in some respects, even though they're an elite team with 5 operatives, have prepared me for playing Mandrakes and being more mindful of positioning.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because like even on a turn that you're going to be cagey with the Raveners, you still need to be like mindful about where you want them to be for what they can do next turn, and like be there in a like the timing that you won't be compromised. So it is kind of like if you can have your last activation be to get somewhere that your opponent is activated out on that side of the board, so you can stage a little bit more forward aggressive and not be punished for it. Those are like the kinds of things that you're looking for, and it is very nuanced, and like there's a lot of interesting things to learn from the Raveners in the positioning game, kind of like you were saying.
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing that is tripping me up most with Mandrakes right now is I have 4 more operatives and wrapping my head around, 4 extra activations, and, where do I want certain specialists to be? I keep, at least my first few games, I kept like mispositioning my Dirgema, or, mispositioning the Abyssal. And it was like, yeah, he's in the totally wrong place to be. So, but not the best kill team player. I paint, I don't play. But I'm starting to wrap my head around it. So
yeah, great, Jason.
Yeah, and
Thank
it
you,
just,
Leo.
just like you get a few reps in and stuff starts to click and make a lot of sense. I guess to add one more thing to the Mandrake cruise missile thing, if you do charge on conceal and it forces everyone to either charge you, so you shadows bite them back, or get within 2 so that they can shoot you, and if you just keep feeding that, by the end of the turning point, you might have like 2 or 3 targets in a short little clustered up area, and then you just hit them with a giant blast at the end of it, and it kind of works like clockwork. It just like works every time. It's just like, here's that turn 3 blast, spins the game around.
I've watched this happen a couple times now, where I walked by and suddenly there's 2 or 3 guys around a corpse.
Yep. And it's just like, it's too juicy to ignore. So because you just like keep on feeding them kills, and they just keep on. I don't know. It works like clockwork.
Yeah, it sounds like
Mandrakes anymore.
Right. Yeah, well, you still won our game though. With the last time we
They're
played.
hard.
Yeah.
Death Wise are hard for, I think, Mandrakes a little bit. In some instances, I think that disruptor really bullied you that game, because like he just shuts down so many potential plays.
Yeah. That definitely hurt me. I mean, I made you work for a couple of charges. Using the Dirge Maws. Now the name of the ability is escaping me. But his ability to basically super injure, somebody in that -2 move.
This one's hard. It's paradolic projection, I think.
Yes, thank you. Paradolic projection.
I'm not
so
even sure if I said that correctly, so let me look it up. It's not an easy one to remember.
Sounds right. But I made you work for that one charge. You actually had to like move up and stage and then counteract charge my operative to actually get there with that -2 move. But as Jason was saying, I think one of the things that I can actually take as a lesson into Deathwatch next time is use that 3-inch dash to outrange you. Right.
Yeah.
Now I can stand off. Doesn't matter. You can't get to me, but then I can dash and get in range of you. So
yeah, outside of that wolf, I imagine most elf teams are just going to outrange people. Like really just watch that charge bubble or whatever. You either get like Corsairs, whatever. They're not really around anymore, but you get that out of phase dash, whatever, and it just changes the kill team game a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they're a strong team right now. They've got not a lot of bad matchups floating around because most of the Marines are the bad matchups, but maybe Angels of Death can take them down. I don't know. Jason's been noodling around with it, and chain swords do 2-shot a Mandrake.
You just raw dog people on the stats and get your positioning immaculate, get your counteracts immaculate, be fine with just trading dudes and make up for it with your crazy double counteract.
It's called kill team, right?
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's not points team. It's called kill team.
I came here to kill a team.
That's right. They did put the kill back and kill.
Yeah,
That was the tagline at the beginning of this edition, this overall edition, right?
Yeah, put the kill back.
We gave out stickers with that on them at Las Vegas Open in October. It's called Kill Team, not Points Team.
Oh man, I love that.
I mean, a wall of hardy assault intercessors do take on the charges of the Mandrakes pretty fine.
Yeah. That's terrifying.
Chain swords go burr.
Overall, in the Colorado kill team scene, it's grown. I assume it's grown a lot. It sounds like you guys have felt like it's grown a lot over the bit. Where has most of the growth been? Has it been in new players, or just the base has just been really, really stable, so the extra players have just kind of glommed on?
We've had a lot of, I would say, turnover. So a lot of the players that we had in the previous edition, some of them just disappeared. It could be life reasons, maybe not necessarily edition. We had a couple players that were not happy with the new edition, some of the changes, and they kind of went on to other games, and that's fine. You're always going to have some amount of player attrition in any game system that you have. But most of our growth has really been with adding not only replacement but new players above and beyond that. I don't remember how many people we had at Las Vegas Open in January last year. I want to say it was like 6, 7, 8 players.
It's around 6, I believe.
Yeah, and that was between us and Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
But when we went to LVO 2, because we got 2 last year, in October, we had at least 8 or 9 playing Kill Team alone, and then from Colorado in total, I think we had like 14 or 15 players that actually went out to LVO for various other reasons too. And they were in some way engaged with our group, because we do have people in our group that do play other game systems, even though they don't play Kill Team. Like, we're not just a Kill Team group. We have people that play Spearhead and 40K and some other game systems as well. And that's what they came out for. So it's definitely
hobby, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, it's all been basically new players that were just new to the game and looking for a group to play.
Yeah, I would say we really focused and refined how we do kind of like approaching Kill Team. Last edition, we did a lot of leagues. Some people who are the competitive side of things love that, but it actually kind of stifled some of our more casual play. People were just not coming on our weekly Kill Team Saturdays and stuff. So we squashed that for now. We did set up this thing where we'll have at least one moderator, one group member from segment in Colorado be kind of like the stand-in, the coach, whatever, where like you are always guaranteed a Kill Team game, regardless of like whether you set up one or whatever. So really just approachable for anyone of any level. Then we also added in rotations of potlucks, which might sound silly, but like every Kill Team box release, so we have 4 a year about, we just did potluck. Everyone came in, we guaranteed you 3 games. You can kind of drop in and come back in whatever you want, bring food, just hang out. It's been a really casual, just like a welcoming experience, and like that helped build the community. It's not just like you come in for your one game of Kill Team and then leave. You can hang out all day and play Kill Team and make friends. So we've been, I think, making the on ramp for Kill Team a lot easier.
Yeah, the potlucks will definitely get, we'll see 15 to 20 players show up for the potluck. And as Leo said, it's very casual, drop in and out between rounds. So if you can't stay all day for 3 rounds, come play a game, eat some food, go home. Can't come right away in the morning, come before our next session after lunch and play the last 2 rounds. And it's just very random. We don't really track wins and losses. And we take requests if people want to play certain players or they want to play certain teams. We set those matches up for them. It's just, it's everybody's there to have a good time, play some Kill Team. And we usually schedule them about 2 weeks after the box release, so people have time to like build and learn the new team from the new box release. And so that's when we do some of those first games with like stealth suits, for example, when we did our last potluck.
I gotta ask, what's the most popular food item for the potlucks?
I think that's Leo's whatever he smoked, whatever meat he has smoked that potluck. He'll do like pulled pork or ribs or something.
Yeah, barbecue for sure.
Yeah.
I never bring any home. It's great.
Well, that sounds amazing. So, like, where do you do the potluck? I mean, is it just at a game store and they just let you bring in a bunch of food? Or is it like someone has a big shed in their backyard?
Yeah, no, it's at the same store that we usually do our Kill Team Saturdays at. There's another club there. We will admit we've kind of stole the idea from another club. They do a couple of these potlucks a year too, but they just generally do them for the sake of getting people together. We pick the sort of like, hey, the new box is out, come and get some games in with the new Kill Teams. And so yeah, we just set up our food. We have a big long table. It's usually 2 or 3 tables worth of food between main dishes and snacks and drinks, and it's just a lot of fun, and nobody's hungry at the end of the day.
That's incredible. I love that.
I guess we gotta get a grill team on here at some point and see what Philadelphia's barbecues are like for their events.
Grill team. So I'm curious about how you guys' experience with Wolf Scouts has been. Have you been getting slapped around by the Wolf Scouts, or do they seem like they're not so bad?
I'll let Leo field this. I have not even played a game into them yet.
So we have this weird thing in Denver where, like, I think outside of major tournament season, people like tend to stay away from like the really broken teams. They give it a quarter, right, for that first pass of touches and hope that the games are a little more fair. I think I played 1 game into them, and like, yeah, it was with stealth suits, so I just stayed in my deployment zone half the game anyway. Not the most fun experience, I don't think. Now I'm not going to pretend like I know the right way to tone them down a bit. They unfortunately, GW has done this a few times these last 2 seasons where launch team comes out a little overtuned, especially compared to older teams, and it can be a bit unfair compared for the rest of the meta. But yeah, we're fortunate that like no one's really jumped into them yet here, but I know they're definitely a problem.
They're coming. I know they're coming. I've seen people on the Discord building and painting them.
Look, you guys can't avoid it. If you want to go to the big boy tournaments, at some point someone's going to get wolf scouted. So it's better to get the practice locally than try to be the nice guys and try to avoid.
No, you're right. You're right. And like
we're to push the competitive part. If you guys just want to hang out, it's fine. Because wolf scouts are cool, but definitely a little mean to play against.
No, that's fair. And like we don't shame people, right? Like plenty of people just love Space Wolves, plenty of people love Necrons, like Knoptech, right? We just try to like part of our, at least our Kill Team Saturdays that were like are more casual. Well, I will intentionally pair people up, be like, oh, you have Wolf Scouts today, you're playing Knoptech. Like just to make the games more engaging, because it's not engaging where you have like like Kasrikin and into Wolf Scouts or whatever, right? Like that could be a very feel sad moment.
It's also one of those things that I think is kind of a nice learning moment when a player thinks their team is really good, but they don't know how to play it yet. And then they're like, oh, I did terribly against someone who is reasonably good. And it's like, it's not just the teams, right? Like Kill Team is really nice because it's not just about the raw stats of the team. It does help, but it's not the whole game.
Yeah, there are definitely teams that can elevate the players. I mean, like Deathwatch is definitely one of those teams that can elevate a player. Wolf Scouts are probably another team that can elevate a player. I think everybody thought like Raveners were going to be one of those teams, and then I think they found out that Raveners were a little bit more finessey than just, missile launch them into your opponent, because then you just don't end up with any bugs left to play the rest of the game. But yeah, I think with our Kill Team Saturdays, we generally will we'll look at the player their experience level and or how new they are to a game too, and we'll definitely try to like avoid some of those more feel bads or negative player experience matchups, just because we want these players to continue playing. And if they show up every week and they're playing against Canoptic or they're playing against Wolf Scouts and they're just losing every single game and they feel like every single game is a climb uphill, that's a player long term you're going to lose, because they're going to be like, I'm going to find another game that I'm having more fun at. We'll, like Leo said, we'll definitely like try to pair up certain players, and we've had a couple Canoptic Circle players too, and they're great. I mean, I'm a big Necron fan. That's my army in 40K. But I've actually kind of avoided Canoptic Circle for a while because I know that they're kind of broken and they need a couple nerfs before I kind of sit down and pick them up and actually play with them.
On the other side of that, though, like we do have like quarterly tournaments and then people travel for tournaments. Like when people are ready to like really step up to those challenges, like we get those games going too. Like we have a few folks that are going to Adepticon. They're rolling out some of the stronger teams. So like we just try to cater to like the players' needs versus just like, free for all, go for it, and good luck, buddy.
Yeah, the intermingling of the different play spaces.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a similar history in Minnesota with people, like avoiding the strongest teams. But Wolf Scouts actually were kind of a popular one, and I think maybe part of that is we have kind of had like record amounts of people traveling for tournaments and like people being more serious competitively, and then we're like, somebody's got to be the bad guy. And then a bunch of people were like, I'll play Wolf Scouts. And so we had a little outburst of it. And then I think people were like, wow, this team is kind of ugly. And then kind of like backed off the Wolf Scouts a little bit. But I don't know. In my personal experience, I think they're not like as diabolical as some people might think, and like the stats don't look like super horrible every week. And I mean, it's pretty much just like read through your rules again, and you might find a tool that is a good answer for some of the strongest stuff Wolf Scouts do. It's not like super apocalyptic. There's a couple things that are definitely stronger than any other team in the game, but for the most part, they are still playing the same game. So it's like you still got to be good at crit up, you still got to be good at positioning, you still got to like know your odds and do your tack up and deny your opponent's tack up and stuff like that.
Don't ever expect one charge to manage a Space Wolf. If you can prep, maybe charge and don't fight, and then charge another guy in and get the twos to hit to make up for the loss of the attack. It sounds like there's a couple ways that maybe you can help get around it,
like
but
rerolls. Lethal 5 and rending and chip damage and shooting.
As someone who just came off Belgor, they're just a nightmare to me. So I get where you're coming from. It's just like a very steep uphill. It's for some matchups.
Yeah.
And sometimes the game has a fox at the top of the meta game, and you're going to have to find the Jigglypuff for anyone who knows how to play Smash. But it's not always so easy. what has the community locally been enjoying playing? It sounds like you guys aren't playing like the most sweaty teams, but do you guys still have a lot of like Space Marine players floating around, or has it kind of filtered out into like, we're going to go experiment in Xenos Land, or the Chaos guys, or everyone's a Nemesis Claw player? Like, what are the vibes like on these Saturday days?
So I would say at the start of the edition, Space Marines were everywhere, and like not even because people were intentionally trying to play more powerful teams. They were just like, it's what GW pushes people to, right? They were good. They were easy to play. 6 models, right? And you're learning a new edition. And like I know we had players in our team in our local meta be like, I'm sick of seeing Space Marines. I will say, like now, we really varied. We don't have a ton of Horde players. I think that's just a thing across Kill Team right now. But we have a couple of Elf players, Jason being one of the newer ones, and a lot of Xenos players, and then a handful of Space Marines. Like there actually isn't. There's only one Nemesis Call player, really. A couple Dwarfs. So like I think we do have a pretty healthy mix, though still trending more towards like Kill Team 24 release teams versus like 3-year-old teams at this point.
Yeah,
We've actually got one player who just picked up Salvagers and is starting to play Hearthkin Salvagers again. He's coming off of Jaegers. He wants to keep that those little dwarf legs pumping, I guess. And but yeah, like Leo said, it's a very good mix. And it's kind of nice being able to face a bunch of different teams and not just run into Deathwatch all day long or Nemesis Claw all day long. And even outside of Kill Team Saturday games, when it's a tournament, we have a pretty good mix of teams as well. So it's nice to see a pretty healthy meta and a lot of different people playing different teams.
Has there been an obvious dark horse, underdog, unexpected team that's been winning tournaments or anything in your area?
Killer.
I mean, two people come to mind, and they're both great players. Don't get me wrong. First, Jonah. He really learned how to get the most out of Star Striders to the point where he was just oppressive. He did really well with them at LVO1. He did okay with them the second time around. I think Deathwatch was a bit of a thorn in his side, but he's won tons of tournaments locally, done well in tournaments out of state. The other surprise was our friend Matt, dwarf player. He is new to Kill Team this year, but he had been grinding on. Well, I'm blanking on their name right now. Sorry,
Jaegers.
Jaegers, thank you.
Yeah,
and like he was coming to every Saturday. He was learning things. He was coming to tournaments, and I just clicked with him right before we all headed over to LVO. And first big tournament for him, he came in 16th. Like he did really well with them, and like they're not a team we see very often. So I think he just had a great game plan and did really well with them.
He actually had a really good sort of like character development arc because he went to a local tournament in Colorado Springs with the Jaegers, and he did horribly with them. I think did he go 0-3 or did he go 1-2? I forget what his record was. It was pretty bad. Yeah, it was not good. But then, like Leo said, he sat down and he grinded on them for the couple months up to LVO, and then I think he ended up taking best in faction.
Yeah, best faction
at LVO with the Jaegris. Because that's what was on it was misspelled, unfortunately. We give him a lot of shit about that, but yeah, no, it was a really nice like sort of character development arc for him to go from I'm just going to roll into this, because I think he'd had some success with him prior to the tournament in the Springs, and so I think he just thought he would just roll in and kind of just win and walk away, and yeah.
I mean, look, Hearthkin Jaeger definitely were one of the underdogs at the World Championship. So we saw one player making it to the top 16 with them. So it's not like they didn't have, some legs.
Yeah.
No, they're fun and good.
Yeah. At the last tournament he played, which was our big charity tournament in November, he was doing the 5 was it 5 mines? You take mines. You take the equipment, and so he had like mines all over the place, and he had figured that out, and I don't know if he picked that up at LVO or where, but it was pretty nasty. He couldn't move anywhere on the board without potentially tripping a mine.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he should go to Rattlings next. They got 5 inches of movement, and they also get a 3-inch dash before they get their moves off. A little squishier, not quite a dwarf, but the mines and the tripwires, they're all there.
Slightly faster shorties.
And you could
they're shorter, they can't see over the barricades.
You probably customize it so that instead of Ogrin, you have like 3 Hearthkin, like Thunderguard, like the big guys as the defensive thing. Yeah, you could probably kit bash
Just two Hearthkin in a trench coat.
Yeah, exactly. That would totally be fine, right?
I think our other call out, sorry if we were still on the same one, but quick plug, our friendly local Davis, fantastic player. I don't think he travels out of state for tournaments, but he's always at ours locally. Probably one of the better Crude players I know. He will always give you a hard time with them.
Yeah, I mean, Crude are definitely one of the harder teams to play. Are there, when you play against them, what are some of the small things that give you trouble?
It's just his positioning is fantastic. He's always got multiple traps. So like, and like as someone who leaned more towards like 6 model teams, like he just made me work very hard whenever we play our games to try and get any sort of score on the board. And yeah, like their stat wise, it's not great. And I know like they don't have the best records, but like with a good player, you could still, show up to a game and give a good game.
But he's really good too at using some of their abilities like poach to come in and just take an objective out from under you when you're not expecting it. And yeah, that operative may not live, but that operative just looted an objective you thought was safe, and now you're not getting the
Crude Hound can always do a quick little pick up on the way out, right?
Yeah.
You send go poach your opponent's objective. Suddenly that model dies and drops it behind, and then the dog swings in a big U-turn and escapes, never to be seen again.
Yep. So he's really good at using those little tricks, especially if you're not aware that team can do that. He's really good at using those tricks to kind of help swing a game in his direction.
And what about for both of you guys on your specific teams? What do you guys feel like are your fun, go-to in the toolbox for Death Watch and for the teams you guys are playing?
I would say with Mandrakes, I really love the Paradolic Projection, like just picking an operative and saying, nope, you're now super injured, and it doesn't matter that if you ignore injury or anything like that. I've really found it to be helpful to like limit somebody's charge on like a specific operative or something like that, and then I know there's just no way because they're -2 move to get to me. I also really like Nowhere to Hide. Right now, because I'm still learning the team and nobody else has played Mandrakes in the meta, I'm pretty like forgiving with my opponents, and I will remind them multiple times during a game that, hey, I can charge you and I can just charge a 9-inch straight line right through all of this terrain and get to you. So just, be aware. But it's not just a charge, it's a move. So that means I've also used it, like my last activation, Turning Point 4, I need to be on this objective so I can recover or so I can tap it. I can't get to it by climbing or going through the door. I will just save a CP for Nowhere to Hide, and I'll just move and grab that objective. Those are a couple of my favorite little tricks with that team.
Brutal stuff.
Yeah, and that end game shadow passage to snap up a Steel Intelligence token or something like that can also be super clutch.
Yeah. I also find too, like, you can't shadow passage and like shoot or fight, but I've actually used the reverse of that, where I'll go to like engage and I'll shoot, and then I'll just shadow passage away to somewhere else on the board, and now I'm not a valid target and I didn't have to spend a CP. The one thing I'm not very good with on that team is using the portal, and I would love to be able to try to set it up to where I have a portal somewhere where I can get like a good a line of sight, and just kind of be able to be like, set myself up, do a shoot, use the portal then to move away, so I'm not a valid target. I'm not having to spend a CP to go back on conceal, but I'm also still have the option of doing my once per turning point shadow passage anywhere else.
Yeah, I actually fully dropped Portal Buddy and just take another warrior every time.
How do you? Interesting.
This Jason's a madman. Not everyone should follow all the directions that Jason drops in the channel.
That's true.
I mean, I kind of like his forever smoke grenade that he can drop out. So
that's the thing I like the most about him. Like the portal is fine, but then one more guy that prevents a Space Marine from living on 1 wound is fantastic. And then it's just a little bit less big brain if you just have one more warrior.
I might have to try that now. I might have to build another one and have another warrior.
Yeah, I'm like, if I played like 15 games with warriors, then I'd probably revisit and bring Portal Buddy back. But that's like one thing you can live without as you're mastering the team. There's so many other things to kind of just really fine tune. And it's like one less specialist to worry about where does he go.
Yeah, that's like I said, I think what I said earlier is like that's my biggest thing right now with him is I'm still like learning the positioning where I need to deploy. Because again, with Raveners too, you there was some like which operatives am I going to put out, which operatives am I not going to put out, where my tunnel's going to go, but you didn't have 9 operatives that you had to think about where am I putting all these guys. It's like generally I was putting like 3 of my Raveners on the board and then 2 in the tunnels. Whereas now I have 9 operatives, I have to figure out where they're going, and that's the biggest thing is like trying to wrap my head around all that deployment positioning.
Yep.
I mean, it sounds like a manageable issue, and it interesting. I guess we'll have you on the Discord at some point, and you can mention how it's gone. Cruise missling all of the mandrakes into your opponents. And I'm sure Leo, you can tell us.
We're never playing again, Jason.
Don't say that, Leo.
Shaking his head, he's like, "I'm not looking forward to this."
No.
I'll make you play me.
Okay. I also have to shout out one more Mandrakes versus Deathwatch thing that's pretty gnarly. If you do the scream stun thing, or whatever you do -1 APL, like let's say the Aegis, for example. And then you also light him with Balefire, so you do 1 extra damage. And then you do the Dirge Scream thing, and now, what is it? It's like 3/3, Devastating 2, and stun. And he's saving on 1s and 2s because he's stunned. So it's just like, out of nowhere, you just like, you light him up with Balefire, and then you scream at him, and he takes like 12 damage. It's ridiculous. Outrageous.
There are reasons why that matchup is perceived to be a hard one.
Yeah.
So then you just don't bring the Aegis, because he's not that big of an advantage against the Mandrakes.
As far as getting the scene growing, you guys have more events coming up. You have your Saturday events that are like the new player centric, or everyone kind of comes to hang out. Do you guys ever do tournaments that are specifically for like new people, or like learners tournaments for people who just kind of like kill team curious, like every once in a while? I know locally for me, it's been good to have like a once a year kind of like push to try to find new players, where we use all of our current social medias and like talking on all the different store channels, like, hey guys, we're trying to get something new going. Has that worked out well for you guys, or has it just been kind of word of mouth?
I'd say it's been mostly word of mouth, going to events or stores and people, I think we're to the point now where other people, if they come into a store, they will say like, hey, who's playing Kill Team? And they'll be like, oh, they'll at me or they'll at Leo, and we'll get that person an invite into our Discord and say, hey, yeah, we're kind of running Kill Team in the area, and if you want games, here's like where you can get them depending on where they are, say if they're whether in Denver or Colorado Springs or up north towards the Fort Collins area, and we'll kind of try to hook them up with people that are in their area. And that's been, again, most of where our growth has come from. And then when we do the tournaments, we'll get people that travel from Colorado Springs, from the Fort Collins area, and they'll come in for our events. As far as like running a new player tournament, I think our attitude has always been, if you're new to the game, you understand at least the fundamental. You have a few games under your belt, and you have a few games with that team under your belt. Our tournaments are beginner friendly too. You can come, you can play. It's going to sound a little harsh, but most likely if you lose your first game, then you're going to be in the fun tier anyway. You're going to be with other people who've also lost their first game. And we do remind people like, hey, half of you guys are going to lose your first game anyway. So, don't feel bad if you do lose your first game. And then they get 3 games in. And we have had people that we have like maybe seen once on one of our Saturdays. They'll show up to a tournament, or some people, we've had a couple of people that just like learned about us, and they'll show up to a tournament and they'll still play, and maybe they've lost all their games, but they come up to us afterwards and they say they had a really great time. They really enjoyed it. And, in addition to say like giving out a first, second, and third prize and a best painted, we also do something that a lot of other bigger tournaments do, but we do it with our smaller tournaments. And we do a wooden spoon. And so, if you show up, even if you've lost all your games, but you finished all your games, at the end of the day, you're going to get a little something. And we usually throw in some extra little prize support, usually some new dice, because maybe they needed some better rolling dice, and, some other little things. So, even if you show up and lose all your games, you're still going to get potentially something for coming and playing Kill Team.
That's nice.
I will say also, sorry, I will say also like the quarterly potlucks we do. It's not a tournament, but like I think it's great for those folks that are new, but they also want to taste like more serious Kill Team. You show up and you can play 3 games in one day. And we do like a soft 2-hour time limit just to keep people moving, right? But I think that's like the first step to being like, hey, this is what a full day Kill Team feels like. It's not necessarily the sweatiest, it's not the hardest competition, or it could be, and we actually, if you want that, we'll put you up against a really experienced player. Now, I don't think we necessarily be opposed to like just a beginner tournament, but like just in terms of our scheduling, and like growing the tournament scene, I don't know if it quite makes sense right now, but it's certainly an option.
Yeah, and I think there's some logistical concerns around like how do you define someone as a beginner in a beginner tournament where there's potentially prizes. I think the potluck, like Leo said, is a really good beginner friendly, taste of Kill Team, because it is 3 games in a single day, and we do have that sort of soft 2-hour time limit per round. But we tell people, hey, if you want to finish your game up into the lunch break or whatever, you can.
That'd be kind of a fun name for an event for someone else trying to start a Kill Team potluck, the taste of Kill Team.
Like that.
Yeah.
But in Colorado, it's just barbecue.
I don't know. We have pretty diverse cuisine.
Get some barbecued Wolf Scouts.
I'm kind of curious. One of my passing memories of visiting Colorado when I had a buddy out there was that there were like LARP camps floating around in and about Colorado. Is there any like Warhammer LARPing, or have you guys ever thought about doing some silly Warhammer LARPing collectively?
I'm not aware of any.
Yeah, I'm sure there is LARPing. I'm not sure about Warhammer specific. And yeah, maybe someday we get some Kill Team LARPing going on.
I mean, there is a Renaissance fair every year, so you're going to get, I'm sure there's some adjacent.
Do like a 22 by 30 foot board, and then every single person is a Kill Team player. There's an overhead camera and someone moves the pieces around.
Yeah.
But you're the pieces.
This is a little off Kill Team topic, but there's a gaming convention that I used to actually run. I was a miniatures coordinator for years before moving to SoCal and then out to Denver, called KublaCon in Burlingame, California. They're actually like a couple hotels away from the Bay Area Open, and it's the same weekend as Bay Area Open's run. And there's a group that runs a life-size aliens. They grid it out with painter's tape on the floor, and they actually put like pillars and other terrain, and then half the people that show up get like an alien helmet, and half the people get a Colonial Marine helmet, and then they just play aliens with real people. It's actually quite fun.
Sounds fun. At Warhammer events, we get Titan walks where you take off your shoes, you put your socked feet on the floor as you move your Titans around. And for anyone who's never seen it, get out to some of those big GW events. I have definitely seen it. Horus Heresy events, I think, is where those sorts of things pop up. All right. Do you guys have anything that you want to call out coming up outside of the Rocky Mountain Open?
We are starting to kind of also support one of our local conventions here. So in February, there's Genghis Khan. They're more known for role-playing games, but we are going to be showing up there running Kill Team demos. So if you're in the Denver area, or if you're going to be at Genghis Khan, and you're kind of Kill Team curious, you can come down into the miniatures area. We haven't quite put our schedule in, but I think we're talking about like Friday and maybe Saturday is when we would run our demos, and we can run you through a quick demo. And same thing, they run Tacticon in August at the same venue, and so we'll be there again running Kill Team demos. We're also at Genghis Khan going to run a Kill Team, I guess, narrative / mega event that we ran at Halloween. We called it Operation Outbreak, and basically we put together 4 Gallowdarks, and basically everybody was able to bring I think originally it was 30 wounds. I think we've kicked up to 35 wounds worth of operatives, and it was just a survival game where you had to get through a bunch of poxwalkers and other nasties. But it also turned into sort of a PvP at the end because everybody would get to the central life pod room and find out that there were only so many life pods, and so people would start like turning on each other and killing each other. So we're going to run that again at Genghis Khan. That was a lot of fun too.
Well, that sounds sweet.
Yeah, that does sound super fun. Actually, if you have that format, you might want to send it to a Once Upon a Kill team sometime, just to have them talk about some fun alternate formats that they can use as like their end of events.
I have to finish writing the rules because when we ran it at Halloween, it was all in my head. So I have to actually write the rules down for this event.
It does sound really fun.
Everybody enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I think we had like 8 players all playing at the same time. It was fun.
How about you, Leo? Anything you're excited for before we head out for the night?
I segment. So in addition to the segmental Colorado events, the Colorado Springs guys are going to have a tournament coming up in February. We could probably share you their Discord link and everything. I don't think the details are finalized for that yet, but I have been kind of taking things off since like last LVO in terms of like super competitive events, and I'm kind of excited to get back into that.
Are either of you guys going to Adepticon?
I cannot. I only have so much travel. Like, yeah, it's more honestly like my wife. Like, she's fantastic, but you know, I'm gonna travel like twice this year right now, and I can't add a third trip.
Sensible.
Yeah, I'm up in the air. I would like to go, but I've already got plans to go to Kubla Khan, which I go to pretty much every year, and then probably we'll be back at LVO in October. So those are like my 2 big gaming trips. I'd have to see if I could budget for a third one, but right now it's probably not going to happen this year. Maybe next year. We'll see.
Yep, totally valid. Yeah, there's it's a hop and a skip for us. Well, I mean, it's like a 6-hour drive, but that's still pretty drivable. So there's a chunk of us from the Minnesota crew planning to go to Adepticon. So for anyone listening that is going to Adepticon, come say hi.
Well, if we do make it out, we'll definitely come by and say hi.
That'd be awesome. And other than that, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having
us.
And as always, thank you, listeners, for listening until the end.